So what triggered this idea to collaborate?
In simple terms, Gen 2. In many markets, you see technology and use migrating from research and life science into clinical application. And I think it's fair to say that in genomics and precision medicine, that's where we are in oncology. And in these markets, you find in the Gen 2 variant fragmented solutions. You have different industry players and different stakeholders in the value chain and in the journey of a patient being pretty isolated from each other. Whether it's a genomic analysis, whether it's the respective therapy, whether it's clinical advice, whether it's an IT solution, often, and what I feel we see currently in the market, is something fairly isolated and fragmented. Our turnkey solution will allow to bring these pieces together as a next generation precision medicine solution. And why? Because it has to be scalable. We have many patients. We have 500,000 stage 4 cancer patients alone in the United States, where only a fraction of those at the end benefit from a change in therapy. And that's the problem we are trying to solve. With partners like Illumina and Philips, we believe we bring the forces together to collectively address the problem and make that a turnkey solution in the everyday practice of a community-based oncologist. To keep in mind that 85% of patients, oncology patients, are based in the community. They're not part of a academic medical center, but often being in the community don't have access to what's actually standard of care at Intermountain. And the idea is bringing that power, the best practice of Intermountain, to the fingertips of a community-based oncologist in their day-to-day practice worldwide.
So what would you say the goal of this collaboration would be for the two of you?
Yeah, I think you mentioned a couple of numbers which I take to heart. The 85% of cancer care happening in the community, and the interaction between the community and the academic medical centers or the larger centers. It's a little bit of a pass the baton approach. Patient context is often lost, and what I think this, for me, what this brings together is the ability to reach out and to take the good work that's been done at Intermountain and really kind of broadcast it. And that's how I think about it. And you asked how this got started, and it got started at a dinner between the three of us in Washington, and just with Ingo's thinking about this idea, and it's really exciting to see it come alive.
Come to fruition for sure. John?
Yeah, for me, it's about context and delivery. At Illumina, we engineer great genetic solutions and diagnostic systems and software and reagents, but at the end of the day, it's a recognition that it's going to be physicians who are interpreting those results and applying them in a real clinical setting. It's going to be clinicians who are interacting with Philips systems and looking at the full clinical context to make a clinical decision. And to do that in isolation is just simply a recipe for an impassive approach, right? So what we want to do is to work with partners, with stakeholders who are already doing this, who represent best practice in the market, and to work with them to deliver those solutions in a real contextualized and applicable clinical setting. And
as you mentioned when we got together first, I have not seen before in my professional life a situation where the synergies are so strong, while keeping each partner's interest individually strong as well, to create a true win-win situation where you do not have one of the partners leading an effort and the others are trailing along and may or may not benefit. We all, not just from a capacity and competency standpoint aligned, but also culturally. At the end of the day, it's about the patient.
Right.
Navican being a company wholly owned by Intermountain, we are very aligned on the premise and the deliverable, which is to improve the lives of these patients. And in early discussions, in every meeting we had since then, it was very satisfying to see that we align around that goal. We know at the end of the day it's not about technology, it's not about shareholder value, it is about patient care. Because when you do the right thing for patients, the rest will fall in place by itself. And I think from a cultural aspect, we also aligned that that is what we try to accomplish, and we bring individual ability and capabilities to the table that are highly synergistic over the next couple of years to come.